It's live.
There we go. We are live. Happy days. Hello, everyone. Tom the English Picker here with a bunch of retrobates to have a chinwag about gaming stuff and pretend we're not old. So yeah. Hello, everyone. I don't know if you'd want to introduce yourself, starting with this person below me in blue.
Me? Yeah, I'm Nick. Just to say, if you're not aware, we are running a weekend of fundraising events, and this is part of that. We're raising money for Mind. I don't know if you put the link in. I'm sure somebody can put it in the chat if the link's not below the
Oh
stream.
yeah.
Yeah, and I am an old gamer. The 90s was my peak of gaming for sure. So I'm looking forward to seeing what stuff comes up in this chat. Yeah, good to see everyone.
So we've got Derek.
Hiya, yeah, I'm Derek. I'm also known as Tap Peddler. I sort of grew up mainly in the 90s. I was born in 1979, so the 90s was my main sort of growing up decade. So yeah, I enjoyed quite a lot of gaming and stuff during that time. So yeah, I've got plenty to reminisce about.
Mr. Ray.
Yeah, hello, I'm Peter Ray from Peter Ray's Adventures. I was very young in the 90s. I was born in 1990, so I started gaming when I was about 4 years old on like a Sega Master System 2, and then obviously I grew from that to Game Boys, PS1s, and further forward. So yeah, I've just grew up with playing games, pretty much.
Perfect.
Oh, Andrew's dropped the link in the chat. He's just beat me to
lovely.
it. Appreciate that, mate.
Yeah,
So yeah,
cheers.
I just thought we'd go through. I've got a short little list of games that consoles that came out in the 90s, and I'd actually pulled out some stuff, and most of the stuff I pulled out actually came out in the early 2000s. I pulled out a lot of PS1 stuff, and I was looking on the back, and it's like 2001 and 2000. I was like, flicking heck. Right, so the consoles that came out in the 90s. We've got Nick's favourite, the SNES.
Yeah, 92.
Yeah, came out 92. We've got my favourite, the PS1. So yeah, and then we've got the my second favourite, which is the
yes.
N64.
Yeah, classic.
So
Nice.
That's one I picked up. It was on Woolworths was going under. I think I got that one from many years ago. So
No way, they still had N64s and stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think was it Comet? It was Woolworths. It was one of the big box retailers had. I got that back then. What was that? The PS1? I can't remember. So yeah, the Saturn apparently came out in the 90s.
95?
Yeah, which I never realised. So
sold a few Saturns in my time.
Yeah.
Oh, Saturn, yeah.
I've got a Saturn, but I must confess I've never ever played on it.
They can be a bit hit and miss as to how well they work, I've found. I've had many over the years, and I reckon I'm about 50-50 on do they load a game or not.
Yeah.
Not seen one for a while, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not something. What's my list? Sorry, unprofessional. Yes, Dreamcast.
I was going to say Dreamcast next, surely.
Yeah, Dreamcast.
I bought Dreamcast new. I remember.
Yeah. The only I've played on the Dreamcast. The only issue I had with it is where the cable came out of the controller. It was like the wrong. It came out the bottom, didn't it? And then you had to kind of loop it up.
Yeah, try.
Yeah. It was a weird design, wasn't it? And they had those little like visual memory cards that looked like a baby Game Boy.
Looked like a Tamagotchi almost.
Yeah.
The idea was to play the game on the move when you're not playing it on the TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody did.
It's not there, was it? Really?
Yeah. On my list, it says the NES, but I guess
was
they
more
probably
like
still
87.
Yeah,
And
late 80s.
I was-
Yeah.
85 even, actually. 85,
Yeah.
mid-80s
Yeah.
that was. But it was still commercially available at around 90, 91 for sure.
Yeah.
You could still get it in Argos then, pretty cheap as well.
Yeah, I remember looking through the Argos catalogue and there being. So I didn't actually have a console until quite late on in the 90s. And I remember looking at the Argos catalogue and the other catalogues around, and there was like Master Systems, and they were really, really cheap. They were like £20 or something, you know. And I never did actually get one, but yeah, I remember sort of sitting there looking at all these, NESs and stuff like that. They were so cheap. The Atari 2600 was so cheap for a long time into the 90s.
I mean, a lot of the games are still really cheap for it. Other than that hardhead one that some Neil guy sold not long ago.
Overpriced, that one.
Yeah,
It was a bit.
Yeah. Next one I got on the list. It says Sega Genesis, but I begrudge calling it that. Obviously, it's the Mega Drive. I've got one here in a rental case.
Yeah.
This is a Blockbuster X-Rental case, so it's.
Oh yeah.
It's in
So when was the launch for that? I think that predated the SNES. So was that 91 or 90? I think it beat the SNES to the market
Yeah,
for sure.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the Mega Drive was out first, yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking
Yeah,
90 or
Mark,
even
yeah.
91.
But it was very
Well,
close, I think it was like.
It doesn't actually say. I'm sure someone on the
Something
chat
like that,
will correct us. But this is the first one. But I remember the advert saying about, was it blast processing or something? Was it?
Oh yeah.
Trying to do a marketing gimmick to say, make it like more. It's one of those things you kind of said at school. Oh well, the Mega Drive's got blah blah blah.
That was the age of the bits. All of the adverts were 32-bit, and how many pixels and how many colours on the screen
That
at
actually
once.
leads me on to the next one. The next one is the Jaguar, the Atari Jaguar, which I remember I remember the adverts for that they really went on about how it was. I think was it 64 bit.
64.
I remember them really.
Yeah,
they were
it
really
kind of
pushing.
wasn't really.
I so wanted a Jaguar.
Yeah, I think people have talked previously about was it actually that or not.
Yeah, it wasn't really. It was 232 bits. But I really want. So I was an Atari ST person, really. So I wanted an Atari Falcon. That was what I was going to get. The sort of the 90s sort of version of the ST that was 32-bit, and then you had the Jaguar that they eventually bought out. And the only thing I got was the Jaguar gamepad because that was compatible with the Atari STE. And then about 2 games actually used it. So yeah, I had this this gamepad that actually works with the Atari STE. And that's the only bit of the Jaguar I bought at the time. But I did get a Jaguar from the car boot sale in the early 2000s, and then ended up sending it to my mate who really wanted it.
I've never seen one in the wild. Even I had a gaming store for nearly 10 years and I was never offered one for sale. That's how scarce those things are. They're just not out there.
Yeah.
I saw one for 30 quid at an indoor car boot and I was like, should I get it? It's a bit of a novelty. And I didn't. And I don't know why I did.
Wow. I saw one at an auction probably about a couple of years ago now, but it was so expensive. It was like almost eBay price. There was no profit in it to buy it. Plus, it could have been knackered and stuff. But
just
I was really
mention, stick around because we do have an item to sell. We're going to do it at the end. I don't know if Lex is about, but she has a bundle of two slimline PS2s. I don't know how many controllers and all the wires. A great big bundle of stuff that she's happy for us to auction off. I don't know if Lex is in to confirm that, but the plan is to do that later. I don't even know if they're tested. I don't even know if Lex is capable of testing them, but they are up.
Yeah, she said there's 2 because she doesn't know what wires go with what.
Right.
So, and it comes in a lovely fetching Jedi versus.
Lex is there,
yeah. Okay, Lex, do you want to confirm that's cool? And we will sell it off at the end. Don't put bids in now. We're going to have this chat for a while and then we'll do that. No, we're not off yet. James, hold that thought.
Dave Pears has just put, if anybody remembers a Commodore CD-TV, I'm not sure. I think Richard had one. It may have been a CD32. I can't remember. I think it's in the chat, but I remember Richard having a Commodore Amiga console. I think that was a CD-TV. I'm not sure.
Lex has confirmed 2 slimline PS2s, 3 controllers, 2 memory cards, and a whole bunch, as you saw in that picture, of cables, which will be sold as seen, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
All proceeds going to the fund, to the
Was the
fundraiser.
CD-TV the one that looked like a... I'm just trying to find... yeah, it looked like a VHS player.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it had a
it
front
is,
loading thing on it.
Because didn't come... Oh, it was the Amiga. They did like... I don't know if that came out. There was an Amiga console that came out.
Yeah, CD32.
Yeah.
I bought one at an auction about a year and a half ago, something like that, and I paid up quite a bit for it. But yeah, I did make a profit, but it was really risky. I was lucky that it worked, really.
I love the controllers on them. They're like a weird sort of like U shape.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a weird thing, and it was a complete commercial failure. That it crippled the company, I think, didn't it? That one.
Yeah, a mate of mine had one, and the laser went on it.
I think
I remember playing Zool on it.
Commodore was pretty much bust at that point. I think it was like their last ditch attempt to.
Yeah,
the
90s was kind of,
wasn't it?
In the 90s, it was either the consoles were massively successful or ruined the company. It was kind of that extreme, wasn't it?
Yeah, Atari were the same. But
yeah,
at that point,
Atari Lynx didn't do well. Remember that handheld in the 90s?
That was really because I was into Atari. That was another one I really wanted. I don't think I ever did get one. I've had one since the sale, but I didn't have one at the time. But that was a 16-bit handheld.
Yeah.
And if you compare it to Game Gear, that was 8-bit. So it was really quite advanced, really. But had like 4,096 colours, that Atari Lynx. It was a handheld in the 90s. It was pretty.
The amazing thing. Go on, Tom.
I'm sorry, I was going to say I bought one of those, and the good thing was you could play it left-handed as well because you could turn it over.
Yeah, you could flip it around. I think some of the games as well allowed 2-player, and one person had one end, but the batteries lasted like an hour or something.
Yeah, I was going to say the amazing thing about the handhelds in the 90s was the length of time that the Game Boy lasted, even though it was superseded technology-wise many times. It was still outselling most of the consoles that came along right the way through to the mid-90s because of the catalogue of games. The games proved they were the most important thing. If a console didn't have decent games on it, it will fail. That was the bottom line. And Nintendo nailed it with the games, Super Mario and all those excellent games that were on it.
But they did mess up with another console that came out in the 90s, which was the Virtual Boy.
Oh, God.
I mean, I've never seen one. I've never played one. But
I think one of my friends has got one of them. Well, that's super rare now, I think. But yeah, I think you get like a migraine after like 5 minutes playing it or something.
Well, yeah, and something on my bucket list. I've got a big bucket list for the gaming stuff, and it's like, will I find it, or when will I find it? I have to think. 'Cause obviously, I'm a gaming collector. As much as space will allow.
So your experience will be very different to ours, I guess, Pete, because like you said, you were born in the 90s, so
born in 1990, yes.
Grew up on it. So what's your memories of it then?
The console I had was a Master System 2, so the big box version had all those free games on the back. So you had like Alex the Kid, you had Michael Jackson's Moonwalker, etc. Because you had about 10-15 games for free, and then obviously you had the console and you had the games, and then obviously from there I moved on to the PS1, and then I moved on to a Game Boy Color with all those accessories, and then been able to for some bizarre reason been able to print out wherever, I don't know why, and then obviously before wireless gaming with 2 Game Boys you had like a little cable. Especially with Pokemon, trade your Pokemon, if you'd be like that close. Oh, here we go.
Got the IR thing.
I just had a big green one, with the battery packs and all sorts.
Just from
PS1 was my jam.
Just got the two
Oh, wow.
see-through ones. That
The pocket.
fat
I love
one
the
came out
pocket.
in
I had the
89,
see-through
yeah.
pocket.
Oh, yeah, that's a nice version, yeah.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've still got my original Game Boy, but Game Boy Color was really when, for me, it was like, oh, flipping heck, this is like. I remember that feeling of like, oh, it can't get any better than this. There's no way.
Oh, it can.
I thought that with the PS1. I was like, oh my god,
Yeah.
these pixelated boobs on Lara Croft cannot get any better than this. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Speaking
there
of
they
it,
are.
If you like. Bring them down.
excellent.
Yeah, first one.
That was such a moment in gaming when Tomb Raider came out. I wasn't really into it, but I just
Yeah.
remember it being everywhere. It was it suddenly went mainstream. It was on the news. It was doing all
Oh, yeah, it
sorts
did,
of things.
yeah.
It was huge.
I remember going around my mate's house, and he said he'd bought it on the. I think it might even be in a demo disc or something like that. It just been released, and I went round his house, and he had it on the PlayStation, I think, and yeah, it was like mind blowing how good it was. So I went home, and there was a demo of it for the PC. So
Oh, yeah.
I think I had must have been a 486 PC at that point, so it was quite slow. And I played. I think you could adjust the size of the screen so you could play it. So it was basically
Yeah.
like 3 inches big, but it would actually allow you to sort of play it without playing.
Yeah.
You know, and and then I think shortly after that I ended up getting a Pentium or something, and that was a little bit better. But yeah,
especially like the second one where you could lock the actual butler in the freezer on the chain level.
Yeah, with his tray of Denver
Classic.
crockery.
Yeah. But no,
I
great game.
first played it on the PC, and I just remember that first level, the sort of jumping and the snowy bits and the wolves and
and the bear and that. Yeah.
it was
It was mad. Yeah.
It just seemed like crazy, and then you know when you fight the dinosaur and stuff, and it's like you know, like proper like
going in the corner of dinosaur. Yep.
My memory of PS1 blowing my mind was when I was away at art college. I didn't have one. I still had a Super Nintendo. A mate of mine got one on import, I think.
Right.
And he loaded up Wipeout, and the intro sequence to that blew my mind. It was just like next level, and that music and all of that intro sequence, and then playing the game was just amazing. The soundtrack to that, I still think, is the best soundtrack to any game ever.
I remember going to like nightclubs and there being loads of PlayStations, because that was when gaming was starting to get. It was away from like the nerdy bit, and it was starting to get like more sort of popular and mainstream. And there used to be like crowds of people around these PlayStations. They were playing things like Wipeout and stuff. And that was when I went. That would have been 97 or something like that, 96, 97.
Yeah.
The marketing was huge. Sony put so much into it, and it's why they took off. It's why they blew Dreamcast out of the water. They got such a massive market share because they spent millions on clever marketing.
Woman's like she had like an alien fate head or something. I remember that creeping me out as a kid. Yeah. It's for me, the PlayStation 1. When I hear that intro music, I can't. I instantly think of Resident Evil 2. That's the game I think of. But for some people, it's other stuff like people I talk to. They think of like Final Fantasy 7. But I didn't play this until I was much older. You know.
Oh wow. I never got into Final Fantasy really,
back
but
in the day.
Yeah.
Well, Resident Evil 2 reminds me of having my first store, and opposite, I had a music store at that point. It was an interior place with little stalls.
And
the guy opposite me was a gaming place, and he did incredibly well. And he had loads and loads of copies of Resident Evil 2 the day it came out, and people were queuing around the block because he just ignored all the release dates. He'd get them in a few days earlier, just put them on sale. So he had queues around the block. Cheeky bugger he was.
Yeah. Resident Evil 2, I was at school when I was playing that, so I was like maybe 14 or something, and we really shouldn't have been playing it, because I just remember that the bit where the dogs jumped through the window. Oh my god, I'd never been so scared. Oh, it's just we're all freaking out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I completed Resident Evil 2, but I have to this day still never finished the first one. It's just too difficult.
Oh, the first one. Fill out a bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's when you went
What was I
into
gonna
the first main room, and you go through one of the first doors, and that zombie with a little cutscene, and it jumps out at you. Well,
yeah.
It's a good game though.
Yeah, the cinematic at the start of that and the wonderful acting was just 90s gold. That is.
We've even got the director's cut.
Yeah.
Which has the.
Oh, nice.
Because that was when they were doing Resident Evil 2, but never finished it, so they put a director's cut version.
Yeah.
So Resident Evil director's cut and Resident Evil 2 demo disc.
Nice.
Resident Evil 2 quickly.
Sorry, I've completely ignored everybody in the chat, so apologies, but I will catch up to that at some point. But yeah, Andrew's dropped the link in again, so if anybody does want to donate, there's no obligation, but do feel free. Just head on over there. Yeah, I mean, PS1. It's mad that like people in America had it so different to us. Obviously, we had your standard. This is an odd game. This is called Night Stalkers. It's not particularly common.
Yeah.
One, but we had the cases that break if you look at them slightly, and then we had these ones which were you can replace.
Big ones, yeah.
Easier.
Yeah, I always think it's odd that in America they just had dual cases, like CD boxes.
Yeah, well, this one was from Australia.
Weird.
It's just
little ones, yes.
And it's like, it would be for me. It would be such a different experience, and so much easier to have normal CD cases because, like, this is like a Japanese one, and this is in the CD case as well. But then you do get like this is a Japanese one that came in a fat case.
Oh, yeah.
So I think they had both of them to make it even more confusing. So yeah, and then you had something we could go down is the demo discs. Like this.
Oh yeah, I've got a copy upstairs. Yeah. Been hours playing those.
Amazing. I do remember getting them.
That was a good thing in the 90s, wasn't it? All the consoles and all the computers at the time had some sort of free disc on the front of the magazine.
Disc, yeah.
So you used to get like cover tapes, didn't you? Like I've got an Amstrad magazine here, and it used to come with a tape.
Yeah, a little tape.
Went with it, and then that went on to like CDs on the front, didn't it? And floppy disks, like the Amiga and stuff. And I remember getting the magazine every month, and there being like a load of different things, on there you could play or use or whatever.
I suppose we should really mention the Amiga, some of the Amigas and stuff like that, because they were about in the 90s. I remember I had an Amiga 500 and used to play that to bit in the demo discs. I've still got most of them now, and just some of the games I remember being brutal. Like Back to the Future was virtually impossible. It was just the most brutal game you would think of. So it lure you in with. The first level was easy, and the second level, where you're like on a horse, was just impossible.
I think I had that for the Amstrad. I think the first level, like you say, was quite easy, but the horse you basically had to jump over things, didn't you? As it galloped along.
Yeah, it was
really difficult.
And then there was like Bart Simpson versus the Space Mutants. That was a tough game.
I remember Richard got an Amiga. And he bought it new, and I remember it coming. So I had an Atari ST at the time, and I thought that was brilliant. But then you got the Amiga, and it had like really fancy sound effects, and it sounded much more sort of realistic sounds on it. Whereas the Atari ST was more it was a bit like an 8-bit sound on the games.
Yeah.
And I remember Bart Simpson on that. I think that was part of the pack that came with the machine.
I remember used to get things like this. This is like an Amiga, like the really thin. Some would be like shareware, that sort of thing, like Doom. And I mean, Doom was a bit early. We got your floppy disk in there. I mean, this is 92.
That takes me back to secondary school days.
It was like Electronics Boutique and stuff like that, and game, and you pick up one of these for the Amiga, or I mean, obviously PC gaming was huge. I've got some here as well to show some big box PC games.
Ooh,
I remember like games like Unreal Tournament on the PC and stuff were huge at the time, weren't they? Half-Life.
Quake. I mean, we could do a whole thing about PC gaming. My favorite PC game from the 90s was Carmageddon.
Oh, really?
I remember that.
This is the expansion, still new and sealed, but this came out mid-90s. This was 97. I just remember because I know Carmageddon came out on the N64, but they had to like censor it and stuff. They had to put like green blood and all that sort of stuff. But on the PC, it was, at the time, it seemed amazing. But now looking back at it, it's a bit cringy.
I remember Carmageddon when that got released. I was at uni and I did there was a course on there that had to talk about ethics in computer games and stuff. So it was a computer programming course I was doing, and I actually spoke about the violence in computer games and stuff, which is quite funny because later on I ended up working at Rockstar.
Well, you ended up working for notoriously the most violent and controversial company in the world.
I don't know if it might be in my dad's loft. I don't know if I've still got the the thing I wrote for the course. I can't remember, but quite interesting to read that if I still had that. I remember I basically slated it, saying these video games should be banned and all that sort of stuff.
I just want to say Asymmetric 13's been putting some amazing facts and figures in, so thanks for that. It's been interesting.
Yeah. The technician is in and he knows his stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow.
You were mentioning before about how hard games were. That's one of my vivid memories of certainly early 90s games being set rock hard. I mean, on the Super Nintendo, I would import a fair bit of stuff. And the Jap import ones were even harder. They weren't tamed down for the UK market, and
you couldn't save games half the time. That was the thing. You had to start from the start.
They were brutal. You'd have your X amount of lives, and that's it. When they're gone, you start from the beginning again. And it was the amount of hours I ploughed into certain games was insane.
That Donkey Kong. Oh my god, I've played that so many times because you get reset and
Yep, Super Ghouls and Ghosts. I lost weeks of my life to that. Never finished it.
I'd recommend the one on the re-release on the PSP. That's really good, actually. It's like it's definitely good. But that was brutal. And I've watched videos of people who make it to the end, and then when you get to the end, it's not the end. You got to play through it all again. It's basically says, it's a bit like the whole Mario, she's in another castle business, which was a dick move.
Or like with Mario Kart, it's like, now we've got mirror mode. We've reflected all of the tracks.
That's what they used to do with all the older games, isn't it? Especially like, I remember like really older games on the Amstrad and stuff. They basically got to the end, you got to like level 20, and then it basically started at level 1, but it was slightly faster, or there was more enemies to kill you, but it was the same level sort of thing.
Such a cunt.
It's like the first Crash Bandicoot game. I've never finished that. It's just rock hard.
There we
go.
It's hard, just put a few out.
Yeah.
Even the big box.
Nice.
The big box Crash, nice. Yep. That's gone insane in value over the last few years.
Yeah.
I used to have so many of them in the gaming shop. We'd get them in every day, and they would just churn them over for like a $5 or something. Seriously.
I brought this about a few years ago when the games were really low in price, but obviously now they're rock hard to get.
Yeah.
And then we got.
Have you got the whole set there, Pete?
Yeah, Crash Bandicoot. Nice. Crash 2.
I actually played Crash 2 before the first one, and
I've got Crash Bash upstairs, but that wasn't a great game.
The third one where you got like that rope bridge, I remember that level being difficult. There's like a rope bridge one where the
rope. Yeah, in the sky, yeah, the rope,
yeah, the sky. That was difficult. That one was as well.
Yeah, and then you could go on the actual rope and then just go through. Otherwise, you have to go on the bits and
Yeah.
I forget what you call that one, but yeah, it's on the first one.
Yeah, Crash Team Racing. I think I probably played
Yeah, I've got
that
that as
more
well, but
than
yeah.
Mario Kart, I would say.
Yeah.
Really?
Still rubbish at it, but wow, God, gonna get lost down memory lane at this point.
Yeah, Crash was a huge franchise through the 90s, wasn't it? That really kind of put PS1 on the map. That and Final Fantasy and Resident Evil, I suppose.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what other big titles there were. Tomb Raider, of course.
Games, probably like WrestleMania.
Yeah, Tomb, yeah.
The wrestling games are massive, weren't they?
Yeah, I remember SmackDown 2 playing that.
Yeah, the SmackDown ones. Yeah, late 90s. Yeah.
Tekken was massive.
Tekken, yeah. Tekken.
Yeah, Tekken. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember being amazed by Tekken, actually. That was one of the first games that really did make my jaw drop because it felt like the characters had weight and the impact was real. You know what I mean?
Impact, just fly off, yeah.
Really, it's so good.
Yeah.
But you look back at Tekken 1 now and it looks shockingly bad.
It does.
True, yeah.
I mean, we could spend all day talking about the 90s. I mean, we haven't even covered, like the Game Gear, what Nick mentioned earlier, the Master System, the GameCube. Obviously, that was late 90s. I mean, that most of the games I got for that are sort of 2001 and to 4, that sort of thing. But that was just right at the end of the 90s. And that's got nuts now. I mean, it's just obscene. Like I showed in that stream the other night, Paper Mario. I mean, that was like £30-40 game not that long ago, and it's now easy pushing 100. It's complete with a manual and everything.
Yeah, it always blows my mind, that sort of thing. Thinking back to the piles and piles of GameCube stuff I had in the shop, just heaps of it. I mean, because when that console finished its life, it kind of just died. Everyone was just getting shot of Cube stuff for a few years. And we had tons of it.
Yeah. I know, it's mad. And there's so many, like, if you think, like, obviously now there's, half a dozen, well, not even that, consoles. There's like 3 main ones. And back then there was like things like, like the Neo Geo. And I mean, I'd never heard of those until like the mid 2000s. I'd never even heard of them. Do
you remember? I know there was Games Master and there was Bad Influence. I used to watch Bad Influence on, I think it was on ITV.
Well, they're coming out with the Games Master again, aren't they?
Yeah, they're doing a new one.
Yeah, a new one. Yeah.
I was never really into that though. I was more into Bad Influence, mainly because they covered things on the Amiga and Atari. So that was more my thing at that point.
Was the Games Master the one with Dominic Diamond?
Dominic Diamond.
And the astrologer guy.
Yeah.
That guy
died recently.
Patrick Moore.
Patrick Moore, yeah.
But also a big thing we haven't mentioned, I know we did last time, but was the magazines. A huge part of gaming for me was every week. Well, I had a subscription to Total Nintendo, which was an awesome magazine. And I used to buy CMVG. Before that, it was Your Sinclair User back in the 80s.
I've got so many magazines. An Amstrad one here. And this was actually talking about Street Fighter 2, which never actually came out on the Amstrad.
Oh, nice.
but what I used to do, if I find it, I know they used to do it in other magazines as well. They used to have type-ins. So you used to basically type in the code, and that's how I learned to program. So that's sort of started me off with all that. But I remember, here, where is it? People recognise these advertising the Amiga. Used to get this Silica Systems thing, and I remember looking through all the different systems they had, and this was always like the latest stuff. And thinking, I'll get that, but it was always like really, really expensive. But there's things like Amiga 4000 on here, and the Amiga 4000 is $2,000. And that was in 1992.
Wow! Oh my god!
Those magazines were so it was always like nagging my parents. Oh, can I get some more? It was often like shareware type stuff. Oh, can I get Hexen or blah blah blah, getting these things. And I remember my dad, I think he was sat on the toilet or something, reading one of those magazines and randomly ordered, and it was a games console. It was rubbish, but I've still got it, and it was an Amstrad GX 4000.
Yeah,
that was early 90s.
That was basically a console version of the Amstrad CPC.
Yeah, and it was rubbish. It was so rubbish. My dad got dead angry because he was like annoyed about the magazine bumping it, saying about how amazing it was, and it was really rubbish. But apparently, someone was telling me they got like a battery in them that's like blows up or something, so that working ones are quite hard to find these days. But I don't even want to turn it on just to check. But I remember it being dreadful.
There's one really rare game for that. I think it's what is it? Chase HQ2, I think, and it's really rare. I don't think there's like two in existence.
Games,
I remember just looking at that magazine reminds me that they used to advertise like computer fairs and stuff in the back of them. And I remember going up to, I think it was Earl's Court in London. My dad drove me up to London, and I had a wodge of cash I'd saved up, and I went up there and bought my Atari ST. So it would have been like 1990, I'm thinking, or 91.
Yeah.
And I'd go to this computer fair because you could get them that much cheaper than the mail order or whatever. And they bundled games in. I got like Cybernoid 2 and other stuff. But it's just a random memory of me and my dad traipsing off up on the motorway to London to a massive computer fair full of geeks. And it was awesome.
I remember going to an Atari thing. It was, who was it? I think it was in Birmingham. It's a convention thing, and basically it had loads of Ataris all laid out, and everybody was playing different games on them. That's where I bought the Atari Jaguar gaming pad. They had like a stall just selling these controllers. And I think they probably had like Atari Jaguar there, sort of showcasing it or something. Yeah, I remember going to that sort of thing. Went to a few of those.
Like buy random things there. I remember like either buying like a torch or like like these kind of like dental pick things or screwdriver sets or something. And you think, well, I bought this.
I bought an Atari. It was an Atari calculator. So it looked like an Atari ST, but it was a calculator. I think they're really rare now, actually.
I was going to say, I bet you wish you kept it. If you
I think that was carpented at some point.
Oh, no.
But yeah, I think that's quite rare.
I know it pains me some of the things like I can't remember I was saying to you the other day. Like obviously I've been sorting my dad's house out and I found some stuff from when they moved, but also when they moved house, it was about 5-6 years ago. My mum came to me and goes, "Oh, I've got these for you," and it was a big bag, a big huge bin bag full of big box PC games, but they were just the boxes. So it's sometime in the 90s she'd thrown away the games, but in the loft they kept the boxes. So it's like, okay, this random. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like with the SNES. I just remember, I never had a SNES, but I remember friends getting one, they'd unwrap it, throw the box away.
I remember buying it. It was actually that massive haul that Hardhead game you referenced earlier came. When I bought that massive haul, they had kept their original N64 stuff, which was part of this haul, and they'd kept all of the cartridges with the console for years and years, and they'd safely stored all the boxes in the loft. They were proper cool about it. But not long before I bought the entire haul, they'd had like the system changed or something in the loft, and the builders had trod all over the boxes. Like all the N64 boxes were flat. And it was like so close to getting mint N64 stuff. And SNES, loads of flattened SNES boxes. They were just
SNES and N64 were like cardboard. It was purely cardboard, wasn't it? The cartridge inside.
So they were all ruined.
Yeah. I remember I bought some SNES games at a charity shop in Birmingham once. And they weren't brilliant. They were like football ones, like international soccer or something like that. But they got the shrink wrap around them. But the charity shop had opened them. They were brand new and sealed and been donated. And they said they opened them just to check the games were in there. And I was like, no, why do that? I still bought them, but yeah.
That's the thing, though, with a crappy title, if it's sealed, it still has that elevated value as a sealed game. But as an unsealed, a crappy title is just a crappy title, really.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Did we
there you go.
want to auction that thing off before we
Yes.
rapidly come to?
Yeah,
I
definitely.
don't know what time we're going to. I can't remember.
I think it's 1:30 because I think someone's
Yeah.
on after us.
Yeah, but yeah.
I was just
So,
going to say, Richard's commented there saying he got a case of GX 4000 Amstrad controllers in the boot sale in the early 2000s. I remember that. I had a few as well, on Amstrad PC joysticks, and we sold them on eBay. And we had loads of them. It must have been like a box of like 100 each or something.
Wow.
Richard says he's still got some somewhere. I bet they're really rare now. They were quite
They'll
rare.
only go up, surely.
Do you know what? I'm sure there's warehouses with stuff. Like not long ago, I bought a couple of cartons of sealed Atari games, Atari 2600 games.
Right.
And that was just found in the back of a warehouse on a pallet, in with just a load of VHS and random stuff. And
Yeah.
What you need is somebody who doesn't realise what they are to get them at realistic price. Otherwise, people just think they're going to be worth a fortune, even though they might be worth something, but they're not worth.
Well, that's the
nearly
difference.
It's worth.
That's the difference these days, because those kind of halls and those gaming collections in the loft, they are still there, but the likelihood that the owner is so naive they don't know there's a collector's market and they're worth a fortune, that's very rare. So picking stuff up dirt cheap just rarely happens now.
And sometimes they might be worth quite a bit, but some people think they're worth a lot more than really they are, even though they're worth something, but they're not worth as much as they think they are, which is a shame, because then you can't even make any sort of deal with them, because it's just
Laney's just put in the chat, 6:30, then over to Movie Chat channel for some Halloween film chat before the Spice Girls are live on Nick and Andrea's channel, apparently.
Yes.
So
that's happening.
Are they in the back in the back room getting ready?
Yeah.
We'll just say yes.
Is it the Bo Selector, Mel B, though?
No, it's the actual. What are you talking about? It's the actual Spice Girls, Tom. I'm disappointed in you.
Right. Well, Nick, I'll hand you over to the auction thing, because I've still got man flu. So
right. Well, there's Lex. Good timing. Lex has very kindly put up. It's a bundle with. There's the bag. Star Wars bag, I think, is included. 2 slimline PS2s. What was it? A couple of memory cards, 3 pads, and a bird's nest of wires. That's up for grabs. Let's kick it off. I'll go 20 quid just to start the bidding. So 20 quid with me. Just put your amount in the side chat. Obviously, you guys can bid if you wanted to. Fauna, £25. I'll take that. And Lex, can you confirm that you're happy to ship it out? We'll stick to UK only, because that's going to weigh a couple of kilos. Yep. UK only, please, for the bidding. And Lex, can you confirm that you're going to happily ship it out? Right, we're at £30. Peter Ray, the other 30 bids will have to go again. Peter is first on my screen. £30 bid. I'll go 35. 35 with me. £35 bid from me. Sorry, that 35 and that 30. It's still with me at 35. Sorry. You've got to go 40. There we go. 40. We've got 40 from Lark Trading. We'll take that. We're at £40. Lark Trading. 37. You'll have to go again, James. £40. Lark Trading. 41. 45. Chris B. Right. I'll go 50. Let's get this moving. 50 quid. £50 with me. 2 slimline PS2s. 3 pads. Memory card, at least one, can't remember, and all of those wires. 50 quid with me. Sorry, I know there's a delay in the chat, but 50 quid with me. There's a slight delay. If bids are coming in before I said it, I'm having to go by what I can see. Is anyone going to outbid 50? 2 memory cards. It's got to be worth 51 then, surely somebody. Do I see any more? My bid is 50 currently. I'll take £1. Yes, Susan. Any advance on 50?
Should be a good seller at Christmas, that's for sure.
2 slimline PS2s. I'm not sure what the going rate is, but if you want to resell them,
Definitely
the cost
value.
is there still.
Mm.
You can give to charity and make some money. 51, there it is. 51.
There you go.
Okay, I'll declare myself out. 50 felt like my limit. 51, Tracy's Den. So if you're not understanding what we're doing, you're actually bidding to buy this. So we will expect you to go straight over to the Just Giving page and give to charity. 52 from Chris. Fair play. 52, I'll take that. Chris B, £52 is bid for 2 Slimline PS2s, memory cards, controllers, and a shitload of wires. 53.
Oh, there we go.
53 is bid. Do I see any more? Can still make a bit of money in this if you want to resell them. The wires look like fun. Yeah, you see, I would enjoy that.
Yeah, totally.
Oh, I would enjoy that no end.
Come around and sort all mine out. Got loads.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I'll come up for a weekend, Derek. Sure. Right, going once at 53 and the Star Wars bag.
Oh,
That's
what? Yeah,
working out
definitely. There you go,
good.
folks.
Yeah. Going once at 53. Do I see any more? We're going to sell. Going once at 53. Chris is out. Okay, Tracy has it. 53. Going twice at £53. I'll give you a chance. There's a delay with the chat. Bidders at 53 for 2 Slimline PS2s and all the accessories and wires. Third and final time at £53. Tracy has it. Do I see any more? Last chance. Hammer's going to drop. £53. Sold it. I'll play Tracy. Can you go straight over to the... Can someone pop the link in? And then Tracy can go over, put that money in, and we should see that before we end the stream. And then that's happy days. We'll get that sent out to you. If you can contact Lex directly or myself or Tom, any of us will pass on details to Lex so she can get your address and ship it over to you.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was just going to say as well, I've got one other thing to auction off that didn't sell last night as well, because, an unpaid bidder. If that's all right with you, Nick, if we've got time.
Yeah, the T-shirt.
Yeah,
we'll do that now.
So
if we run over, it's fine. The other stream can start, and then when we can pass everyone over to the other stream if they get going before we're done.
Yeah. So the next lot is something which I've never talked about, but I was scratching around something I could think about auctioning off, and it was auctioned last night, but unfortunately, we had some trolls in, and they didn't pay for it. So it's going to be up again. It is the unreleased Dickhead of the Week merchandise.
Oh, okay.
Which is not focusing, so I should have really got this on my computer.
Can someone put the link? Apparently, your link wasn't working, or it was wrong, Tom. No, we've got one. We've got one.
There we go.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Tracy went to the right one.
Ooh. Let's see. Let me make this full screen.
Okay, so we're going to take bids. We'll start wherever you like on the T-shirt. £20 straight in from Lex.
So it comes. You can either have it in white, light blue, orange, green, or grey, and it can be in small, medium, large, and XL, and I think even double XL. Yeah.
I'll go on in.
So you can pick your colour and your size. So these are super limited then, if it never actually went on.
One exists currently, which is in my wardrobe.
There's only one in existence. Right, we've got £21. James, 30 Peter Ray.
Yes, why not?
And yes, the technician has asked. I can sign it if need be as well.
Ooh,
if signed or unsigned, it's up to you.
Okay. Peter Ray has it, £30. Do we see any more? We are auctioning off a almost unique T-shirt.
Definitely.
Let me go and see if I can find it. I'll be back in a moment.
One in existence so far. £30 currently with Pete. 50. £50 bid for the charity. Remember, all the money, 100%.
Yeah, I'm out. Yeah.
Pete's out. Fair play, Pete.
Yeah.
100% of the money goes to charity. £50. We'll take that bid. Sorry, Richard. 50's already in.
Yeah.
If it's signed, we can arrange that for you. Wow, there's been a lot of money being spent on t-shirts this weekend.
Definitely. Yeah.
Tracy says paid. Fantastic. Let me just go.
Me.
Let's see. I will keep refreshing and see. Hopefully that will show up in a minute on my end.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so we are currently selling off the t-shirt. Tom's gone to find his one. £50 has it at the moment. There's the only other one in existence.
So this is the only
Wow.
other one in existence.
Right, if you can sign it, Tom, we've got a £50 bid.
Wow.
Going once at 50. Do I see any more from £50? We can get Tom to sign it. If you'd rather not, that's fine too. Going twice at 50. Do I see any more? We're going to sell £50.
Next has got an important question. Tom, does it smell of you?
This one does, yeah. I can auction this one off separately if you want.
That might be a decider for another
There's
bid.
more though.
Okay, last and final chance. We're going to sell it at 50. We're gone. We're gone at 50. Excellent. Now, I hope that we didn't have a problem with the links and that because I keep refreshing. I'm not seeing that payment come in.
Yeah, I think I only copied half the link.
Hopefully, when I refresh, this will show it shortly.
They
Yay! Thank you so much, Tracy. So, if you can DM Lex or myself or Tom, whatever's easiest to find, we will pass on your address details to Lex and we'll get that sorted for you. Likewise, with do you know asymmetric?
Yeah.
All right, well, you two can sort that out. Excellent. And we're almost on time to hand over.
Yeah. So thanks, guys. I really appreciate that. It's flown by. It's gone in an instant. I've got a million things that I never showed, like Zool on the Mega Drive.
Yeah, same a few bits
Lion
show.
King.
I was going to show this off.
Oh yeah.
Oh god, yeah,
that's fantastic.
Debugging station.
Oh, somebody's ruined that by painting it.
Yeah, you want to get a bit of nitromorse on that, mate.
This one actually needs a new lens. I still need to sort it, but it does work. Yeah, very rare. That's an NTSC as well, that one.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. I got that from a car boot sale as well. Crazy.
Wow.
3 of them from a car boot sale. And the guy said he had like 100 of them, but I was messaging him trying to get a deal together and this never came out, unfortunately. But
I remember you telling me that and I was like, oh my god, to make this deal happen.
I think I worked out if I sold them all it was like 60 grand or something.
Wow.
Price for all of them.
That would have been the best gaming deal ever in our community. That would have been.
Yeah, that would be outrageous.
But I don't know if the guy was just exaggerating or what, but he just kept on fobbing me off, and then in the end, it just didn't come to anything.
Does somebody have the link for the next stream, just so that everyone who's watching, if they want to follow us over to the movie chat, they can. I don't have it to hand, so I can't pop it in. If somebody does that, and then we can all
great. And then but I mean, you know, I could chat about gaming. I mean, it barely does this justice, but just oh my god, I just noticed the total. So the total at the moment is £4,393. Wow, that was £2.5 grand when I last looked. So that's amazing, fantastic.
That's what happens when people come together and that's all it is. It's the community doing their thing. We're just enabling people to be generous. That's all it is.
Didn't even have to run a marathon or anything, or anything daft like that. So
Excellent.
So thanks everyone for joining me. Thanks Nick and them lot for giving me a nudge to do YouTube again. I do appreciate that. And sorry I've not replied to anybody in the chat, so I'll try and scrape through it afterwards and reply to you all in the comment section as well. So do appreciate everyone for sticking by. I think we've had about 100 people during this. So yes, and I'm sure Lex will be mothering me about getting this one as well. So I will Lex message me and we'll work out a deal.
The link's not showing because people aren't mods. Let me see if I can find it. But then I've got to find the stream as well.
Yeah.
Also, Carl has just joined us.
Surely between us we can figure this out. We'll all stare blankly at our screens for a minute.
Well, I'm just thankful that the tech gremlins didn't smite us this time.
Halloween chat.
They've just started. Bad Wolf's just sent you the link, apparently.
I've got it. Now I've got to actually find the stream that we're on. Because I can't post in the side.
I've got 4 boomers here trying to work out technology.
I don't think Pete qualifies for that description.
Pete doesn't. I'm not even in that role.
It's just the oldies like me. Right.
Okay. I even struggle to get like chipped PS1s to work.
That should work. I put it in the chat.
Oh, sweet. Cheers, Pete.
If you click that, folks, it should go through to the movie chats.
I think I've managed. I'll put something in there. Hopefully, it goes to the right place.
I've managed to
yeah. Super. Great. Well, yeah. If everybody wants to head over there and obviously subscribe to these lovely people's channels wherever I'm pointing, this way, that way. Yeah. I will put after the fact. I will put all their links to their channels in the description. So if you're watching this back afterwards, just click through there and you'll be able to subscribe to everybody here. I'm sure you all are anyway. But thanks everyone for joining us. We do really appreciate that. And I'll see you all soon.
Cool. And if you can, when you put those links in, if you make the top link the Just Giving one. So if you're watching this after the fact and you enjoyed our ramblings, chuck a couple of quid towards Mind. Really important work that they do, and that's what this whole thing is about. So if you enjoyed it, if we somehow entertained you for an hour, chuck a couple of quid into the pot. We would appreciate that.
Super. Right. I'll see you all soon.
Thanks, Tom.
Take care. See you later.
Bye.